Live from your local news leader, this is NBC 10 News at 5.
Right now, a South Arkansas detention center under fire after pictures of inmates in Nike shirts goes viral. And a family sets the record straight after their son's vicious attack by a dog. Our Bria Jones is the only reporter talking to the child's family. Plus, we'll have an update on the president's plan to help those affected by Hurricane Michael after the storm pounds its way through parts of the South. Thanks for joining us. I'm Natasha Williams-Gordon is off this week. Our top story at 5, the Union County Sheriff's Office under fire after mugshots of their inmates hit social media. Photos show the inmates wearing Nike shirts. Some took to the internet suspecting that it had something to do with the Colin Kaepernick protest. The sheriff tells us the inmates were not fully clothed or were wearing something inappropriately, and they were offered clothing out of a box. He says there's no connection between Kaepernick or the protest.
We didn't purchase these shirts, these Nike shirts or this Browning shirt. We did not purchase those with county funds or taxpayers' money. It was simply shirts that were left here. It's a box back there, and I don't know that we could say lost and found, but a lot of people leave some of their own belongings there.
At 6, NBC 10 Sheriff Cobbs talks to community members who say there may not have been an intentional situation, but there should have been a little better thought process put into it. A 7-year-old boy is fighting for his life after Grambling police say he was attacked by a pit bull. However, the family says it was actually a pit bull that saved his life. NBC 10's Bria Jones, the only reporter to talk with the child's father, and shares how the community is coming together during this tough time. Bria?
Natasha, 7-year-old Howard Kirkpatrick Jr. is currently undergoing his 3rd surgery after police say he was attacked by a pit bull. However, his father says the dog that viciously attacked his son was his cousin's Mastiff. In fact, he says Junior's pit bull, Missy Bell, helped to save his life. The attack happened Monday on Medgar Evers Street in Grambling. Police say the dog attacked the child, biting him on the head, shoulder, arms, and legs. He was airlifted to University Health in Shreveport. His father says he's thankful it wasn't worse.
I thank God, man, for sparing his life. But I know the size of this dog is incredible. She is a very big dog, man. She's over 200 pounds, and I don't see a grown man making it through no fight with this dog, man. And I just thank the Lord that he wasn't there long.
Police say the dog in the attack was put down and the owner of that dog was cited. More charges are possible. And at 6, hear how people in the community are stepping up to help the family cover expenses and how you can get involved. In the studio, Bria Jones, NBC 10, your local news leader.
Thanks a lot, Bria. A South Louisiana post office manager is behind bars tonight, accused of stealing up to $600,000 in stamps. Now, according to a federal report, PayPal and eBay notified postal agents that a large amount of stamps were being sold by Ryan Cortez. Investigators found that a manager at the Kenner North Post Office, Cortez, had ordered over $600,000 worth of reserve stamps, but was selling them online. Now, police suspect it was to support a very expensive gambling habit. Cortez was arrested on Thursday, and if convicted, he faces up to 10 years in prison. LaSalle Parish Sheriff's Office officials received a protective vest for their canine officer, Draco. Now, you see it right here, Deputy Kenny Pittman and canine officer Draco sporting this new vest. Now, the nonprofit organization Vested Interest in Canines donated the bulletproof and stab-proof protective vest. The cost for one of these vests runs about $2,000. The nonprofit is based out of Massachusetts, and they've donated over 3,000 vests around the country. Lincoln Parish Detention Center will be getting some much-needed upgrades thanks to a loan from the USDA. The Department of Agriculture has given the Lincoln Parish Police Jury a loan for $2.6 million to expand the detention center. Now, the money will be used to build a new intake facility. In an existing facility, the USDA has invested over $295 million across the country to improve rural infrastructure. Social Security recipients will see a little extra in their checks next year. Social Security benefits will rise 2.8% for a cost of living adjustment announced this morning. Now, that's the biggest jump in 7 years. For the average retired worker, that means about $39 more each month. The cost of living adjustment is based on a broad index of consumer prices calculated by the government. Tonight, President Trump says the federal government is coordinating a massive response to Hurricane Michael. NBC 10's Mark Meredith is in Washington with a look at how officials are preparing to help those hit the hardest by the storm.
President Trump is promising Americans dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Michael that help is on the way.
But it's tremendous destruction in the areas.
The president says he hopes to visit Florida's storm-ravaged Panhandle region potentially as early as Sunday. Vice President Mike Pence says the government is committed to ensuring a full recovery.
We are with you. We will continue to work with you until we rebuild and recover bigger and better than ever before.
President Trump has granted both Georgia and Florida emergency federal assistance. The president says he's also in touch with governors from across the Southeast. FEMA says the hurricane knocked out power for at least 500,000 to 600,000 people. Lieutenant General Todd Semonite with the Army Corps of Engineers says troops are now examining roads and bridges, making sure power companies have a safe path into the disaster zone.
It's all hands on a deck, and there's no white space between everybody. Everybody's talking. We have people that are embedded inside the State Emergency Operations Center.
Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar says his department is working to get medical supplies back into the community.
We have deployed pharmaceutical supplies ready. We're there to assist urban search and rescue after the fact.
Officials say it's too soon to tell how much the storm's recovery will ultimately cost. In Washington, I'm Mark Meredith.
Now, President Trump very busy today as he also signed a new Music Modernization Act into law. Two astronauts lucky to be alive after their rocket booster failed minutes after launch. We'll have the details on their controlled fall after the break.
Absolutely gorgeous day across the ArkLaMiss, and a few twists in store as we work through the weekend. But it doesn't mean rain chances. A full look at the forecast as NBC 10 News at 5 continues.
Eye on Ouachita. The opinions and views expressed are those of the Ouachita Citizen and do not necessarily reflect those of Nexstar Broadcasting and Mission Broadcasting, this station, its sponsors, or employees.
I'm Sam Hanna, publisher of the Ouachita Citizen. West Monroe Mayor Stacey Mitchell's efforts to build bicycle paths in the city picked up some steam Tuesday night. And the Board of Aldermen adopted a resolution to support a Phase 1 of West Monroe's bicycle and pedestrian plan. Under Phase 1, City Engineer Robbie George will tweak existing plans to improve pedestrian walkways in West Monroe to determine whether they can accommodate bicycle paths as well. Ultimately, Mitchell would like to see bicycle paths extending from Caroli Park to downtown West Monroe and possibly to Lazar Park. Bicycle paths also on the drawing board from Main Street near the Ike Hamilton Expo Center and along Parkwood, among other roadways in the city. Meanwhile, West Monroe is pursuing up to $1 million in capital outlay funding from the state to help pay for planning for the city's Greenway project. It's an endeavor to stem flooding in West Monroe while also preserving wetlands areas in the city, including the former Trenton Street Golf Course. There's that story plus much more in this week's edition of the Ouachita Citizen. Subscribe today by calling 396-0602 or visit Citizen online at ouachitacitizen.com.
Hey kids, how would you like to forecast the weather with me?
KidsCast, sponsored by Ouachita Valley Federal Credit Union. For more details, visit myarklamiss.com.
Your local news leader is now delivering all the top stories that matter to you in the first 10 minutes of our 10 p.m. newscast. 10 at 10 on 10. 10 minutes of uninterrupted coverage on your local news and weather. 10 at 10 on 10. Give NBC 10 News at 10 minutes, and we'll give you the ArkLaMiss.
The other guys think 2% for a 36-month CD is good. Unbelievable. Come get a 30-month CD for 3%. 3% at Homeland Bank. Where's your money?
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye to you. Vantro Toyota is saying goodbye to every remaining 2018 with huge model year-end discounts. Hurry, get giant model year-end clearance discounts plus a $2,500 rebate on new 2018 Highlanders. Get a $3,000 rebate on new 2018 RAV4s, and 0 for 60 is available. So hurry to Vantro Toyota. Now more than ever, right on the corner, right on the price.
The other guys think 2% for a 36-month CD is good. Unbelievable. Come get a 30-month CD for 3%. 3% at Homeland Bank. Where's your money?
NBC 10 News at 5 continues.
President Trump surrounded himself with some of music industry's longtime veterans today as he signed the Hatch-Goodlatte Music Modernization Act. Musicians Kid Rock, Sam Moore, Sam and Dave, Jeff Skunk Baxter of the Doobie Brothers, Mike Love of the Beach Boys all joined members of Congress at the bill's signing at the White House. The bill aims to create a better licensing system for digital music and streaming services. Sam Moore called the bill historic and thanked President Trump for signing it, and Kid Rock praised the president for all the great things he's doing for the country.
The Hatch-Goodlatte Music Modernization Act. This is a landmark bill. They've been looking for it for many, many years to protect the intellectual property and creative genius of America's incredible musicians. Uh-oh, I got the mic. This could be good. No, but I think we should start with, I just like to bring it up that there's a whole lot of people in this country that do give you a lot of credit for everything you've been doing for this country. That we know that some people don't give it to you as much as maybe they should sometimes.
2 astronauts from the U.S. and Russia, are safe after an emergency landing in Kazakhstan following the failure of a Russian booster rocket carrying them to the International Space Station. NBC's Kelly Kobiella reports.
A dramatic emergency landing in Kazakhstan today. 2 astronauts, both in good condition and safe after this emergency landing. Astronaut Nick Hague from Kansas, an Air Force colonel and husband and father of 2.
There is liftoff.
Was on his first flight into space this morning, along with Russian veteran cosmonaut Alexei Ovchinin. The 2 blasting off at 4:40 in the morning Eastern time from the launch site in Kazakhstan in what should have been a routine launch and 6-hour flight to the International Space Station for a 6-month mission. But just a few minutes after launch, there was an engine failure on the rocket booster. The crew had to basically fall back to Earth, what NASA calls a ballistic descent, a controlled fall, but no less dramatic and very unusual. This particular Soyuz rocket is extremely reliable and has a near-perfect record. The mission now clearly aborted. Doctors say they've checked both astronauts and say both are uninjured. Russia's deputy foreign minister says manned space flights are now on hold until they figure out exactly what went wrong. Kelly Kobiella, NBC News, London.
Very scary situation, but probably maybe the weather situation helped them, being that it wasn't bad.
Yeah, and it's miraculous that they can do those ballistic falls or whatever they call them, just to get them back to the ground. That is
scary.
Unbelievable. We've had our own scary stuff in the southeast over the last couple of days. Still have Michael churning through the Carolinas. A full look at the forecast coming up next.